Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Greetings everybody, guys. Today we will take a look at the Australian dollar, and we thought that it's really the situation here that we can't miss to discuss, because the Australian dollar has very specific place on the forex market, because it has very strong relation to the commodities. Because the commodities, the gold, the stainless steel, the gold, and some other commodities, it's really the very big part of the Australian budget, and due to this really strong relation to the commodities market, its behavior, the Australian dollar could shed some light on the ongoing processes that is not yet visible in statistics in some mass media. So we think that the recent action on the Australian dollar is really tells about something, and it's not just occasional action. Because only on the December we said that, well, overall background for the Australian dollar is not very good, because really big difference among the policy on financial policy of the Fed and the National Bank of Australia, Reserve Bank of Australia. And based on the technical picture, it has the relation in this drop. This is, guys, weekly chart on the Australian dollar. And in the technical picture, it has found the reflection of this drop out from the neckline, this head and shoulders pattern that we have discussed for a long term. But in January, in the January, situation has turned very fast. And currently, we have talked a lot about it in the weekly research. So the Committee of Traders report shows the bullish sentiment, that it's really demand on the Australian dollar is growing. The speculative position has turned to the positive sign. The open interest on the Australian dollar is also growing. So the Committee of Traders shows really bullish sentiment, long-term bullish sentiment. Also, guys, the trade balance that have been posted in the December shows that the real numbers exceeds on the 50% numbers that market has expected on the trade profit. So as you understand, the 50% difference between what has been expected and the real numbers can't be occasional. We 2 weeks ago said about commodities that they have turned to the growth. And maybe we suggest that maybe it could happen that Australian dollar, since it has, as we said, a special place on the forex market with the tight relation to the commodities, it could bring the first signs of some global processes that right now stands on the global economy. So maybe new spiral of the industrial growth is starting right now. And Australian dollar, as it really has the big relation to the commodities, is becoming the first currency that shows these changes. We probably will get the same changes on other currencies and statistics that we will get later in the year. But right now, we need to wait and we need to take a look at the Australian dollar, because it really shows very important action. Another reason why we're taking a look at the Australian dollar is because it has very tight relation to the gold. And if you remember, if you're monitoring our view and our analysis on the gold market, you probably remember that in the gold market we stand at a very important point. It's really fragile equilibrium right now in the gold market, because if market will turn to the bullish trend, it will mean that on monthly chart we will get the reverse hand shoulders pattern in the gold market, and this will confirm the idea that something is changing in the global economy. It's really the global processes is starting to turn the global growth. The new spiral of the growth stage will start, and inflation, so on, and all the other factors that corresponds to the stage of the growth in the global economy. And appearing here, the hand shoulders pattern will let us to take in the gold market view with different indices. So this really could become important. Speaking on technical picture, so if you're interested with that, so you could read the weekly research, especially of the part of analysis dedicate to monthly chart and some fundamental questions there. So on the technical point of view, guys, as you can see, this changes that we see right now is leading to breakout of the neckline, the hand shoulders pattern on the weekly chart. And that really could bring far-going consequences. We will not talk on really far-going targets, but we will focus on the targets that we could calculate right now. So first of all, as you can see, we will get this A, B, C bottom D pattern based on the head and the shoulder. It stands approximately at 81 area. That is also, guys, the 50% resistance on the monthly chart. And the breakout, the right shoulder, could take the shape of the butterfly. The targets also stands around 81 area. It envelops very well. So that probably will be the medium-term destination in Australian dollar. But again, guys, the major value of this view is not just with these targets and the patterns that we have, but mostly with some hidden process that now stands in the global economy and that find a reflection, not in statistics yet, but on the behavior in Australian dollar. That's really very, very valuable information right now. So, but at the same time, on the technical pictures, you can see market stands at weekly overbought. So it means that on the next week, hardly it will continue move straight right to the target. Probably it could turn to some calling, show some minor retracement here before the upward continuation will happen. So based on the previous times when market hits the overbought, so you can see shows some kind of retracement here, back down to the weekly range, to the lows of the previous week, and then continues move high. So maybe this hero market could show something of that sort. That being said, on the weekly chart we have definitely the bullish picture, but the overbought condition will stop a bit the upward development. So it's probably the next week we will get some bounce, some retracement here. So on the daily chart, some other bullish signs we see right now, guys. Market stands above the monthly pivot point, above the yearly pivot point. So on the last week, you can see really superb rally has happened on the Australian dollar. And previously, when I talked on the possible patterns that could be formed, and give you the hint in our videos that the Australian dollar is forming some setup, but it's not ready yet. I mostly was speaking about this probable double repo pattern. I don't have the 3x3 here, but the idea was that market is approaching to the neckline, and I thought that maybe market will show some retracement here. But as you can see, double repo pattern has not been formed. Market has formed only first penetration on the 3x3, but on the second penetration, market has skyrocketed higher. Right now, as you can see, the upward reversal swing has been formed, so market has formed higher swing up compared to the previous swing down, and also it has returned back in this consolidation. When market returns back in some important consolidation that has been abandoned previously, it usually leads to the action at least to the opposite border of this consolidation, or very often it leads to the upward breakout. Taking into consideration the commitment of traders report and the statistics that now stands in the Australian economy and the commodities prices, well, we think that upward breakout here is not impossible. So it's very probable to happen, especially based on the picture that we have on the weekly chart with reverse head and shoulders pattern. That's why as soon as retracement will be over, it's probably market should continue move higher. So speaking on the retracement levels, it's most probable and acceptable levels. There are two of them. First of all is the first level, 75.64. It will be just perfect if market will reach just this level, because this also will be the weekly pivot support one. It's a normal market retracement right to the pivot support. Or maybe some retracement to the confidence 75 area is possible, but it is preferable if market will stop retracement somewhere in this area, because 75 area stands still slightly below it's right to the lower border of this consolidation. And if market will show the deep retracement here, well, it will not mean that overall stop is failed, but this will be not as beautiful as retracement to just this level, 75.65. So that being said, as you can see on Australian dollar right now, it's not just interesting patterns are forming, but also overall action is really thrilling, because the price behavior brings us to take the new view, new opinion on some global ongoing processes that stands under curtain right now. It's not really reflected in the mass media and statistics yet. But they are going, and the Australian dollar could become the tool that we could use to identify these processes. That's the major value of the current analysis of the Australian dollar.